I am back in Ouray, Colorado, in the San Juan Mountains in western Colorado. I was here last year for a site tour, and if you'd like to see that video, you can click on a link above or in the show notes. And we toured the mine, both mountaintop and underneath, to see the development that was being done with the hopes of bringing it into production. They've just started the mill, so now the mine is ramping up. They're fine-tuning the mill and building out the development stopes, so we're going to see that today. The goal over the next 3 years between this mine, the Revenue-Virginius mine, and the Shafter mine in Texas is to get to about 8 to 9 million silver ounces per annum production. And there's actually potential through consolidation and possibly adding another mill through acquisition that the company could even ramp up silver production here in the San Juan Mountains at the RV mine and beyond what's even stated in the feasibility study. So we're going to be meeting with Aurcana management, seeing the mill, and they're going to be employing the historic method, the Resue method of mining. This is the method that A.J. Reynolds used 150 years ago, which birthed this town, Ouray. It's a mining town. It's a tourist town today, but it was a mining town with the mining boom here, and the same method that was employed 150 years ago is being re-employed and fine-tuned by Aurcana as they are bringing this silver mine back into production. I'm a shareholder. They sponsor my show, and they're right there on the Lassonde curve. And if they're successful in bringing this mine into production, I think we will see a re-rating in the share price. That's what I'm hoping for as a shareholder. So thanks for joining me. Let's get at it.
So we were talking on the way up about what it really takes to put a mine into production like this. I mean, this is a narrow, high-grade vein. There's not a lot of them in the U.S. anymore. There are a few, but it takes three things, in my opinion. So the first thing it really takes is the resource. You got to have the resource, and even though with all the drilling that was been done historically and the drilling that we've done in the past few years, you really don't know what you have until you get on the vein and you're starting to mine it. And that's happened fairly recently. In the last month, we've been on the vein on the 1800 level, which is 200 feet above our main tunnel. And we've been sampling that every round over the last month and a half or so. And in an area that we were expecting to get about 27 ounces per ton on average of the vein, we're sitting there with about 50. So we're fairly confident right now that the projections we had during the feasibility study and the 43-101 work that we did is actually pretty darn good. So the vein that we're on right now is very strong, and it's very highly mineralized. So I think the resource has been set in stone for at least for this phase right now that we're in on the 1800 level and above that to the 15 and the 1200 level that we're working on right now. The second thing is really about personnel. It's about mine management and mill management. It's also about the personnel that are at the face. So being a conventional mine like this, it's really all about the miners to get the rock broken and ship it to the mill and get the development done in a timely fashion. And you always have a question of how many feet a day can the miners get at a face. And you really don't know what that's going to be until you're actually doing the work with the infrastructure you have. So I feel very confident that we've been able to recruit the best miners in North America. It took us a year to figure that out. It took us a year. What does it really take for schedule? What does it really take for pay scale and production bonus? What does it really take for the benefits that they need? And what sort of mine management and the culture have you developed? And it took us a year to figure that out. Around January of this year, we actually started recruiting some of the best miners in North America. And Charlie Milliken, our mine manager, has been instrumental in that. He's done a fantastic job of recruiting and retaining good miners. My son was an intern this year, mining engineer intern at another mine here in North America. And his boss actually grew up in Ouray just like my son did. And they were having a little chat one day after his boss had a meeting with some of his upper management, and one of the questions that came up is, who's this Ouray Silver Mines that is actually recruiting miners away from other mines? What are they doing? And my son and his boss chatted about that, and of course my son didn't want the upper management of the mine to know that it was his dad that was running that operation. So the third thing, so the first two were resource, do you have it? And second, do you have the people that can break the rock, run the mill, manage the operation? And the third thing is really about your logistics, your infrastructure. And you can see, if you look here from last year, you can see a lot of changes to this mine site. The passive water treatment system that keeps us in compliance with our discharge permit is fully in, and it is in compliance. You can see the rail yard building is up. That's a change. We've expanded our dry room and office building because, simply put, the previous operators at this mine were not expecting 170 people to be working here. And then you can see the changes over to the left with the mill buildings going up. The mill has been operating now. We are in commissioning, so it's going to take some time. The mill manager, John Teal, is fantastic. He's done a great job of putting that mill together with the contractor, Western Refractory. So I think right now we're in a good position to be successful.
The dog's name? Maverick?
Buddy. Come on. You're the dog? Huh?
We just think that the best way we've been able to be so successful at our mine is we've been able to haul in some of the best miners around, with our schedule being a 14 on, 14 off. Been able to pull some of the best Alamac hands, rail hands. We've been fortunate enough to have some of the best timber hands come here to help us out, ensure that we can maintain the success as we keep going on.
So I've worked for KGHM International and Nevada Gold Mines in the past, and when I'm presented with this opportunity to come in and do a startup and a construction of a mill, I jumped at that opportunity. Right now we've finished the commissioning, or the construction phase, and the commissioning phase is going on right now, and within the next month we should be at full production.
This is the crusher, the primary crusher right there.
Okay.
One of the amazing things about the Ouray silver mine is the grade. Historically, over 60 ounces per ton. That's over 2,000 grams per ton. And when we've got a mine that continues to have very, very high grade, and the higher we go in the mine, the higher the grade is, we've got something that's going to make a lot of money. The second reason I love this mine is the management team. Kevin Drover, he used to be the Senior VP Worldwide at Kinross. When he joined our team here at Aurcana, he took one of the mines we used to have in Mexico from $20 all-in sustaining costs to $12 all-in sustaining costs. He knows how to make things efficient, to make things cost-effective, and to make things profitable.
Okay, Bill, so you've seen what we've been doing up there. The mill was running today. We've been producing now for about a week. We've got the product here that we've produced, this lead con. This is the stuff that's going to make us the money to produce a profit over the next few months.
Well, Bill, thanks for coming. Very much appreciated. One of the things I'd like to say to our shareholders is that what you've seen today on this film is really the culmination of all of our hard work, but also your money. We're finally in production. It's a really big milestone for the Revenue-Virginius mine back into production again, but also for Aurcana to be a producer. And we're in a really good place. We're ramping up production now through the rest of this year, and going into next year, we're looking at going from that 270 tons a day, which gets us to 3.5 million ounces. We're looking at going up 100 tons, getting up to that 4.5 million ounces for next year, and then in 2023, building up to that 6.5 million ounces out of just the Revenue-Virginius mine. We also have the shafter, don't forget, and we're looking at doing a feasibility study on that in the early part of 22, and pending, of course, a positive feasibility study, we'd be looking at putting it into production, and that looks like about a 2.5 to 3 million ounce producer. And don't forget, it's fully permitted, has a mill in place. We have to do some work and do it on the basis of feasibility, but we'd be looking at 2023-24 in that 8 to 9 million ounce range. So we're a producer again. We're looking to be a mid-tier producer within the next couple of years.